Hey fellas, Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana with a neat little investor-oriented video. We're going to talk about something that's become sort of the black sheep of the hobby. We're talking about silver PSA 10 rookie cards, right? So everybody's running from the Prizm base rookie cards. Everybody's running from the silver Prizm rookie cards. But today I'm giving you an ultimatum. Okay, on the good side, I'm giving you $10,000. Okay, on the bad side, you have to invest that $10,000 in one of these players' silver Prizm PSA 10 rookie cards. So however many cards of each of these particular players and each of these cards you see on that thumbnail right there, you've got to spend all $10,000. So one of the conditions of me handing you $10,000 cash is you got to go spend it on one of these 4 cards and you've got to use it all. Okay, so that's what we're talking about today. Hopefully this will be fun. Hopefully this will, I'm soliciting massive comments on this, right? And so this is something that kind of hits home for all of us. So even if you avoided the crazy base dip, guess what? There's actually been a crazy silver dip since first quarter of 2021 as well, which is probably understandable because there was a crazy run up leading into the first quarter of 2021 as well. So what I am going to do is I'm going to pull up our card ladder here. And so here's the 4 cards we're talking about. We're talking about the Luka Doncic PSA 10 silver, last sold for $29.59, pop 21.12. We're talking about the Trae Young 21.60. Pop last sold for $896, down under $1,000 now, people. Those are the two, in my opinion, the 2 hottest, biggest silver Prizm rookie cards from 2018. And then we'll look at the biggest silver Prizm rookie cards of 2019 for those 2 prospects. I still consider these guys prospects. I know Doncic is pretty steady, and so is Trae, and so is Ja, and Zion clearly is a prospect because he needs more time. But we got the Zion PSA 10 silver, which is now at $13.75, and then we've got the Ja, which is at $14.48. Pop 1276. So we've got to keep in mind their pop. We got to keep in mind their current average sale price we're going to use from the last month, and then we're going to kind of use those 2 things to calculate their market cap. And one beautiful thing about Card Ladder is it's got this compare feature. So what I've done is I've plugged in all 4 of the silver PSA 10 rookie cards that you see here. Okay, we've got it showing the last 3 months of data right here, and we can change this to whatever we want. If we really wanted to see a depressing graph, there's your graph. It doesn't look much like a middle finger when you spread it out over 2 years, but trust me, it was. We watched all these cards go to astronomical prices right here around, that's going to be right at March 2021. And then we've watched them all come back down and settle. So if we sort this thing by, let's say, the last 3 months, so we get a nice large sample size, you'll see over here on the left is a purple stripe. And so this Doncic purple line is going to be the Doncic PSA 10 silver, which has come down pretty considerably. The red line is going to be the Morant. He's tucked in right here. Okay, he actually switched places with Zion. Look at the gap between Zion and Morant only 3 months ago. Massive gap, about a $590 gap. And then right here, around January, maybe a month ago is when Ja passed Zion, and then they flip-flop a little bit, and then Ja hasn't really looked back. Ja is still outpacing Zion by a few $100, and he has been for about 2 months now, about a month and a half actually, something like that. The green is Zion, as we just talked about, and then here's Trae down here just doing his thing, scoring tons of points, and believe it or not, Trae was actually more expensive than Ja Morant at one point, and then Ja just went off to the races, right, because he's having such an incredible year. Not that Trae Young isn't, but Ja's team success, I think, is fueling a lot of his movement right now, given the fact that the Grizz are one of the best teams in the West. And I don't think it's crazy to say I don't think any of us really expected that to happen, given his supporting cast. They're good, but not great. So everything they're doing has kind of been on the shoulders of Za. But let's get into some details. As you can see, everything over here is red. It's a bloodbath. Red is for blood. People are experiencing bloodshed right now. If we look at the last 3 months, these cards are down 25% for Doncic, 5% for Ja, 40% for Zion, and 27% for Trae. That's strange to me. I want to switch this over to the 1 month graph. And now if we look at it here, we see that Doncic is down 6%. Ja, ironically enough, is down 13% in the last month. And that is baffling to me because he has forced his way into the MVP conversation and his team's overachieving. I guess there's got to be some naive people out there who think the Grizzlies actually have a chance in the West. I apologize if I make enemies here, but they have zero chance, in my opinion, of coming out of the West. Because at some point in the playoffs, people are going to be allowed to put hands on Ja. They're going to run doubles at him, and they're going to make his teammates win a playoff series. And I just don't see Bane and Jackson and even a healthy Dylan Brooks or John Conchar or whatever that guy's name is, or Kyle Anderson winning a playoff series against the elite teams in the West. I just don't see it happening, but maybe I'm crazy. And then the trade's actually up over the last month, which is encouraging because he really has been having a really good season despite his lack of team success. So this is one just cool feature I wanted to show you on Card Ladder. So when we plug in the average sale price of these cards over the last month, I got a little chart up here for you. It's real simple. These are the numbers that we're going to be working with, and I just want to see what you guys think, right? You've got 10,000 cash. Cajun Cardboard just handed it to you. In Louisiana, we actually do use US dollars down here. So I've handed you 10,000 US dollars, and you've got to plug it in. You can get 3.4 Luka Prizm PSA 10 rookie cards. You can get 6 Ja Morant. You can get 6.5 Zion Williamsons. Or, believe it or not, you can get 11.4 Trae Youngs. And so the two things that stick out to me here is this right here, this 6 and 6.5, for me, as a person who always weighs risk and hedges against, potential injury, just the uncertainty. I'm probably going to go with the sure thing in this case. That's an easy choice between Ja and Zion, given that their pops are so similar. And Ja's probably going to catch up and pop to Zion because, everybody submitted every Zion silver at first. And sure, most people submitted Ja, but we're going to assume their print run is exactly the same and that Panini printed the same number of silver prisms for each. I would guess that there's going to be a lot more Ja Morants coming in the near future, and maybe people will chill a little bit on Zion Williamson. Again, you're still going to send in a clean-looking raw copy. I'm not saying that, but I think that pop will probably close the gap, and they'll be almost identical. If you look at Doncic and Trae Young, after almost 4 years now, look how similar their pop is. And so that's just something to keep in mind, assuming, of course, the cards, there's no condition defects or anything. They should grade about the same number of PSA 10 gems, so that pop rate should even out. But what I'm getting at is I think it's a really easy decision. If you gave me $10,000 and I had to choose between Morant and Williamson, easy choice. I'm taking Ja Morant any day, all day. I said it from the day they were drafted. Ja Morant is the guy that I'm going to invest in, and I did. I never bought a Zion Williamson card in my life. It's not because I don't think he's a freakish talent. It's just his price point was so preposterous from day one, I couldn't touch him. It's the same reason I'm not going to buy an Anthony Edwards and I'm not going to buy a LaMelo Ball. I know they're great. I can tell right now those two guys they're sure things. They're going to be fantastic players. There's no question about it. Anthony Edwards will probably make an All-Star team next year. LaMelo's already made the All-Star team, but their price point's too high coming out the gate, and that's just not my style. I'm Anthony Simons. I'm Kevin Porter Jr. I am Darius Garland. I am always looking for the next All-Star whose price point is pennies. And so that's just my take on those two. I'm taking Ja Morant over Zion all day long. It gets a little more difficult here when we talk about Luka versus Ja Morant. Essentially, you're looking at almost a 2-to-1 ratio. Would I rather have 2 Ja Morant silver PSA 10 rookie cards over 1 Luka Doncic PSA 10 silver rookie card? I think Doncic is probably, in my book, I think he's going to end up being a better player over a 10-year period. He's probably going to be a little more durable just based on the way he plays and his girth. That's a euphemism for thickness. His body leaves much to be desired. Let's just say there's a lot more upside for Doncic's body right now, even though his game, he's proven himself on the court. So, between Doncic and Morant, the other thing to consider is you can get 2 Morants for 1 Doncic, but Morant is almost one half the pop as well. And so it's really a double-edged sword there that really makes you want to jump on that Ja Morant for the upside of having 2 cards, not almost, but you know what I mean, 1276 versus 2112. That's a lot more cards. But then again, we have to presume that more 2019 Prizm Morant are at PSA and were printed than 2018 Luka Doncic cards as well. So that's also something to consider. It's not just the pop today. You can't just take a snapshot. It's like LaMelo Ball silver prisms. You can't just say, hey, there's 48 PSA 10s. Let's go get it. It's low pop. It just means they haven't been graded because PSA shut down and now the price is so high. So you've got to kind of, you're not only speculating on the player and their performance and the values, but you're also speculating on what the ultimate end result of the population will be 10 years from now when anybody who's got a raw one would have already submitted it. So what will that final pop be when it starts to plateau? So that's the tough choice, right, between Doncic and Morant. And then you scroll down here, well, you don't scroll, but you come down here and you see these Trae Youngs and you think to yourself, my goodness, 11.4, I can get 11 Trae Young rookies for $10,000. That's, 3 times as many as I could get for Doncic, more than 3 times as many. And the guys, last time I looked, he's top 5 in assists, top 5 in scoring. He's a munchkin. He's a high usage rate point guard. He and Morant are essentially the same type of prospect, except Morant can jump and sit on the rim and Trae Young can't. And Trae Young is probably a little bit better three-point shooter, even though his percentages aren't fantastic by any stretch. I think most would conclude Trae Young's probably got the potential to be a better long-term three-point shooter than Morant. So different players, but same position and same preposterous usage rate, like put the team on their back. Little dudes like this, they struggle to win titles. If you go back and you just kind of look, little tiny people, and John Morant and Trae Young are, by NBA standards, are little bitty people. They struggle. Like Steph Curry in the playoffs is not the same as Steph Curry in the regular season. He has no finals MVPs from the rings that he has. And obviously those Steph Curry titles, he had a hell of a lot of help, guys. We can't ignore Durant. We can't ignore Clay and Draymond. And just the fact that they were the best team, period. Morant and Trae Young, it's really tough for guys like that to take their team and put them on their back, sort of like Giannis did, right? Giannis, obviously, again, they had a great team as well, but Giannis was the alpha super mega star on that team, and just his body type allowed him to endure some serious physical beatings that I'm not sure Morant and Trae Young can endure. Doncic can endure it, so this is a tough choice. If you're asking me to choose in order, and this is completely off the cuff, I came up with this topic this morning and just decided to put this out there because I thought it'd be a really cool conversation piece. And I thought it would be really cool to go back and just kind of look at the history of these cards and what they've been doing. Again, you see this bloodbath over here on the right when you look at 3 months. But what I do want to remind everybody, I'm the dude who ends every video with stay positive. And I'm not trying to bullshit. I'm trying not to curse. I'm not trying to BS you guys, but if you look at the last 2 years, let's just relax a little bit, right? The Doncic is up 131%, the Morant's up 30%, the Trae Young's up, 64%. If you bought a stock in the stock market and your stock was up, 64% in 24 months, you'd be pretty freaking happy. You wouldn't be as concerned about the fact that, over the last 6 months, it's down 54%. Okay, so just, calm down, everybody relax, let's let these things plateau and settle out and then just kind of go from there. But to answer the question and get to the end of this riddle, if you made me choose, honestly, I'm probably going to take the Doncic's first. Even though his market cap is high, I just think he's on a totally different level than these other guys, even though these other guys are really, really good players. Everything about Doncic, he checks every single box in my book, every single box. And so I'm going to hedge risk, and I'm going to take 3.4 Doncic's with my PSA 10 silvers, especially given where that card got. I think it got to $8,000. And then, looking at it right now, the card's at what, $29.59. Let's see where this card got to. Yeah, this card got all the way up here. Oh my God, it got to $9,700. But a steady at $9,000, steady $9,000. And so for it to be just, $2,959 today, I'm going with Doncic 1. And believe it or not, I'm going to go with Trae Young 2. That's just too many. If you give me 11.4, and John Morant, you're only getting 6. That's almost a 2-to-1 ratio, for every $200, Trae Young goes up, Morant's got to go up $400. If Trae Young can kind of stay on the path and kind of end up being the same player as John Morant, It's a 2-to-1 ratio. It's just hard to pass that up. So I'm going Trae Young. I'm going Trae Young number 2. And also another reason that I'm going with the 2018s is I think the pop on these 2019s is going to exceed 2018. I think that when it's all said and done, number one, Morant's as hot as a firecracker right now. Even though his silvers aren't reflecting it, the kid's on fire. So I like to buy cards that have kind of dipped. And so that, the Trae Young and the Doncic really appeal to me that way. And the Morant, as you saw in that first graph we looked at, has recently passed up Trae Young and has recently passed up Zion Williamson. So for that reason, I'm going to buy the card on the dip, not the card on the rise. But you give me a 2-to-1 ratio with Trae Young, Silver PSA 10s over Morant, I'm taking 2 Trae Youngs. So in order, I'm going Doncic, Trae Young, Morant, Williamson, just because Zion, again, there's no reason his cards should be even remotely in the same ballpark as Ja Morant right now, and they are. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm not even sure who's buying. I mean, I guess people are thinking buy the dip on Zion, which is, I profess that, and a lot of people in the hobby believe in that theory, and I think it's a great one, but just too much risk, man. Foot injuries on 300-pound people who rely on athleticism is just a scary, it's a scary combination. So that's a big concern of mine. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I thought it was a pretty cool idea and a pretty cool premise. It's kind of one of those deals where it's great that somebody gave you $10,000, but it's kind of crappy. You got to spend it all in one place, and you got to choose one of those. And the one thing I've learned in the hobby is you can't look back and regret the decisions you made and the investments you made, because you win some and you lose some. But anyway, hopefully you guys like that video. Hit one of these other videos that you're about to see on the end screen if you think my content is a good fit for you guys. I've got some more Jordan content coming up soon. I promise you not all of my content is going to be ultra modern investing stuff. That's hardly the case for those of you who know me and know what I collect. It just so happens a lot of it lately has been because it's fun to talk about. And it's fun to speculate. And it's honestly maybe not a bad time to start looking at people's Prizm Silver PSA 10 rookie cards. Who knows? Maybe we've hit the floor. Maybe there's another run coming just like in 2021. Anyway, I really do want you guys to comment below and let me know the order that you take them in. But I want you to also give me a little one-sentence explanation of why you chose them in that order. Don't just blindly throw out some names, because if you can't defend your position, you can't win your trial in the court of hobby collecting. So thank you guys for listening. Keep collecting, stay positive in the hobby, as I always say, and peace.